America's mayor live. There is an American warship, of which there are so many in the Persian Gulf, the Arabian Gulf, the Indian Ocean, and in the Mediterranean Sea, that all the rich people there can't go swimming with their yachts. Oh, that's so bad. So, which is causing a real problem for Reza Pahlavi, the princeling, who wants to take over Iran and is becoming discouraged by the fact that those ships may be there all the time and he can't go on his boat. But in any event, you know that I have very, very strong feelings about this, and these do not come from anything current or anything just episodic. Or this is a long involvement that I've had, probably more than in almost any other subject. I did the mafia in 4 years, and a lot of people think, well, he had a very heavy involvement with the mafia. And I did Wall Street in 2 years, and I turned around the city in 8. But I've been involved with Iran from almost the day that it happened, for all kinds of reasons that at some point we'll do a podcast on this. I'll give you the whole history of it. But suffice it to say that I was involved in it almost from the first moment that it happened. First in my position as a private lawyer, and then because when I became Associate Attorney General of the United States under President Reagan, it was an ongoing situation. Remember, the hostages were released. The moment that Ronald Reagan was sworn in as president. Issue was, what are we going to do about these people? And then they, of course, sealed it for us a couple of years later when they slaughtered our Marines and the French soldiers in Lebanon, a country they completely destroyed and raped to the disadvantage of Christians. I mean, they killed enormous numbers of Christians in Lebanon. We met one last night who was Harry, who was telling, who was telling us how terrible they were dealt with by the Iranians.
Right.
And you say, well, why did they take Lebanon? If you take a look at the map, and we'll show it to you later because I love maps. Take a look at the map in the Middle East. They had a great strategy, and they almost succeeded. Their great strategy was they were going to take the entire northern part of the Middle East. So, and here's where they were at the height of Biden. Here's where they were. They had Iran. They had Syria with Assad. They had Lebanon, where they put the Hezbollah in, and they killed almost all the Christians, and they killed a lot of the moderate Muslims. And they had Hezbollah to take care of the rest. So they had Syria. They had Iraq for the longest time. From the time that Joe Biden went there, was not able to do a status of forces agreement, which meant that our troops could remain behind and protect the people there, including the MEK people who were killed. The Ayatollah moved in and took over Iraq. He couldn't win it by war, but he won it by skullduggery, and you want to call this diplomacy? You can. And it belonged to him. And we got our MEK people out of there after 2.5 years of dealing with the brutal Obama administration that favored them over us. By us, I mean Americans. And if it wasn't for the American military, we never would have got them out. But it cost us 120 lives to do that. And at the height of their strength, Iran looked like it was going to accomplish it was going to get as close to accomplishing in the modern age what Muhammad wanted, which is a Muslim empire, where you better be Muslim, like in Lebanon, because if you're not, we're going to kill you. And then along came Donald J. Trump. And he did away, first of all, with the agreement that was going to make them nuclear and gave them a fortune. Today, a bunch of Democratic traders got on television saying the cause of this war was Trump tearing up the nuclear agreement with Iran. Well, the nuclear agreement with Iran would have meant they'd be now about gosh almighty, maybe already or about a year away from being a full-fledged nuclear power. It only contained them for 10 years. And as Ronald Reagan once said, you can't have nuclear power in the hands of madmen. If the Ayatollah isn't a madman, he sure does a hell of an imitation of one. So that was an absolutely necessary decision. And his loss is our gain in terms of decent, humane government and the possibility of peace. But now there's a lot of questions left open. This thing is not ended. Somebody's going to have to take their place. The Shah's son is doing everything he can to take over. It will be a disaster. It'll be going, you usually say you don't want to go from bad to worse, right? This would be going from bad to almost as worse, right? Which is not a good way to go if you're going to lose 30, 40,000 people, right? You don't want to lose 30, 40,000 people to going from a dictatorship to a monarchy, do you? I mean, who wants him, even if he's going to have a constitutional monarchy, and he'd be the first person in his family in a long, long time that was even vaguely honest. And he's never worked a day in his life. He has no income. His income is stolen from the people of Iran. And his family has the blood of so many Iranians on his hand. You're not going to find too many families there that weren't victimized by the Shah. And all his life, he's played princely. He travels around Europe, and they call him Prince. And he doesn't sing. So it's some other kind of prince. There is an alternative to him, Maryam Rajavi. Maryam Rajavi is the widow of Mossad Rajavi, who led so far the most successful revolution against the Ayatollah in the 1980s. So well that it required the Ayatollah to eliminate within a short period of time, like a couple of days, 20,000 of them, including her husband. They went off into hiding, they reorganized, they set up an organization, a large, bigger tent organization called the NCRI. And from that day forward, they've raised enormous amounts of money. They have gotten the support of 150 members of Congress, Republican and Democrat. They've gotten support from almost every parliament in Europe. And they have a shadow government ready to go in. Shadow government to the extent of running it until they have an election, which they are aiming for 6 months. But understanding the problems that we had in Iraq, when we couldn't run the railroads, they've got a guy ready to run the railroads tomorrow who's willing to come out as soon as we say, come out. Or the government says, come out, or the people. What they want is a government of, for, and by the people. What Pahlavi wants is a government of, for, and by the crooked Pahlavi family, which is so crooked there is no such thing as the Pahlavi family. It was made up by the British so they could steal Iranian oil, which they did. So now let's listen to Madame Pahlavi, because she's worked on this for 40 years. She's lost her husband to this, her sister to them, and another sister who was tortured. She has worked for years to develop a conceptual constitution called her 10-point plan. So they don't have to start doing it all on day one. They can have this ready. They can be going in 6 months. And if you want to read some of the books, here they are. This is a very, very, can we show this? This is a very scholarly endeavor. It's not just somebody's whim like the show. Well, you can show it afterwards.
No, we got to show it.
Right here. This is it right here. We'll go through some of these, and I'm going to suggest these for you. These are the best ones. I mean, I can make it this big, but these are the best ones. This will give you the picture of them. And we'll be, over the next week or so, we'll be interviewing some of those people. So let's go now to, I should tell you that Maryam Rajavi posted this specifically for you, my audience.
So we're gonna play.
And she's in Paris, France.
This is recorded exclusively, I believe.
Yeah, and then we're going to give it out, but this is exclusively on here
Our show.
right
So
now.
this is Maryam Rajavi, the president-elect of the National Council of the Resistance of Iran. So we're gonna put her on right now. Hold on, just give me a second. Again, this is about 5 minutes. Maryam Rajavi, a video she gave directly to us.
Want to get me off the screen?
Loving people of the world. The death of Khamenei is the death of religious despotism and the end of the regime of the absolute rule of the clergy. Now is the time to establish freedom and the sovereignty of the Iranian people. On behalf of the Iranian people's resistance, I declare the National Council of Resistance of Iran announced the provisional government to transfer sovereignty to the people of Iran based on the 10-point plan that had already been published. As the people of Iran demonstrated during the January uprising, they seek a future based on a democratic republic and reject the oppressive and dictatorial regimes of the mullahs and the Shah. I declare to the international community that only the people of Iran have the legitimacy to determine the political future of their country. The destiny of Iran is being written by the Iranian people with the blood of their courageous sons and daughters, and there is no need for foreign intervention. We have always said that we do not seek money or the presence of foreign forces on Iranian soil. Now is the time for solidarity and unity against the remnants of religious dictatorship and monarchical fascism that seek to steal the democratic revolution and the outcome of 47 years of suffering and sacrifice by the Iranian people and their courageous children. Here, I call upon the patriotic personnel of the army to stand alongside the people of Iran. The Revolutionary Guard and other forces that preserve the regime must lay down their arms and surrender to the people. The National Council of Resistance of Iran, the longest lasting democratic and independent coalition in Iran's history, relying solely on the Iranian people and their resistance, has presented the Solidarity Front Plan. This plan calls on all political forces on the People's Front who are committed to the overthrow of religious despotism and the establishment of a democratic republic based on the separation of religion and state, to act in unity and solidarity at this sensitive time despite their differences. Based on the NCRI program, after the fall of the regime, the provisional government is obliged to hold free and fair elections within 6 months for the formation of a constituent assembly and a national legislative body. Subsequently, power will be handed over to the newly elected representatives of the people, who will assume responsibility for governing the country and drafting the new constitution. Once again, I emphasize that the National Council of Resistance and the provisional government are not seeking power, but rather the transfer of power to the sovereignty of the people. Finally, we know that freedom will not be handed to us on a silver platter. It must be earned, and it comes at a price. Our people have already paid a heavy price. For 47 years, our movement has stood at the forefront of resistance against religious fascism. More than 100,000 of its members and supporters have given their lives for the cause of freedom. This struggle will continue until our country is liberated from the grip of the criminal mullahs. I have no doubt that victory is ours and that Iran will be free. Salutations to the people of Iran. Victory to Iran's democratic revolution. Long live the Democratic Republic.
What a difference. What a difference. This is a woman who graduated college, at 20 or 21 years old. Met her husband, who was a great hero of the Iranian movement, first to rid themselves of the Shah. And then when the Ayatollah double-crossed the revolution, he never, ever conceded 1 inch to the revolution. He was the leading candidate for president of Iran. And the Ayatollah required that he agree and swear to the Constitution of Iran that made the Ayatollah the supreme leader and subjected Iran to a religious law, and he refused. And ultimately, for that, he was killed. And she took over, and she has been remarkable. I've worked with her myself on life and death situations any number of times. I'm close to her because I was almost killed with her twice. So I can tell you this is an exceptional, exceptional woman and will be a great leader. And this is only a byproduct of it. Isn't it remarkable that we would have a woman as the head of a country that was the most brutal to women in the history of the world? Well, we have with us an accomplished academic and a member of the resistance movement, Mohammad Reza Hassami. And I'd like to hear his perspective as an Iranian. How would I describe you? An American Iranian, an Iranian American?
Iranian American, I would say.
I'm an Italian American, and somebody else is an Irish, right? We're all the same.
That's correct.
So now, did you come to America from Iran, or did your parents?
Well, Mayor Giuliani, it's great to be with you. This is an honor. I came to the United States when I was 17 with my parents.
Oh, good. Okay. So now tell me, did you watch the video with Maryam Rajavi?
I did.
So would you tell us a little bit? There's an awful lot of confusion about the MEK, which makes me so angry because it's all paid for and orchestrated by the establishment and by Pahlavi. But could you explain to me how you came to be involved in this and why you feel strongly about it?
So when the time that I got out of the country, I was 17. It was a couple of years after the 2008, 2009 uprising in Iran, what was called Green Movement. So, I would see things going on inside the country and, how people would be suppressed. And we were really trying to make a change then. We couldn't. When I got outside of the country, I was trying to help my friends back in Iran. I was trying to, raise awareness, and I got involved more with MEK and, the NCRI, and that's how,
You did that. Was I missing something, or did you do that inside Iran?
no, no. Well, inside Iran, I was very young. At the time I was like 15, 16. So, but when I got out and I knew that I could help my friends, I got more involved with
I see.
MEK.
Okay, so you did it to see if you could help your friend.
Correct. So ever since I've been involved, and I know how great they are. I mean, we just listened to Maryam Rajavi's, speech today. She announced the transitional government. She said that people will choose their future. They are the legitimate source for choosing their future, and people must be united. Um, you know, um, I think Maryam Rajavi's NCRI, Maryam Rajavi's her like NCRI is inclusive of all Iranians who reject both monarchy and theocracy.
Mhm.
I think that it naturally appeals to majority of the Iranians, Kurds, Baluchis, Azeris, Lors, and I think the groundwork is there. Having worked with NCRI, I know the groundwork is there. Everything's ready, and what I like about them, they are all about the people. They are not about, it's not a single person system that one person wants to rule everyone. No, it's from the ground up. People themselves have to do
No,
everything, basically.
it's a very, very important point, because the people around and the people promoting the Shah are the same people that put his old man in office and his grandfather in office. They're the people who are looking to suck the blood out of Iran. The business people, the oil people, and they figure if they get Pahlavi in, whose family is a completely corrupt family. Pahlavi, if you think about it, has lived off the money stolen from the Iranian people all his life, and it's never bothered him. So the establishment that has always used Iran as a sucker for oil thinks they can do that again. And he'll make any deal with them as long as he gets his cut. And you can see he's not a very strong man. He's never been involved with us. I've been involved in this for 15 years. It's only the last 2 years that he's reared his silly little head. He wasn't there with us when we almost got killed in Albania. He wasn't there with us when we almost got killed in Paris. A lot of other people were there, but not him. He was protecting his princely ass in Switzerland somewhere.
Yeah, and he's not serious about people's rights. You look at his interviews; it's all about him. People want me. People have called on me. And it makes me laugh every time I look at this guy. I mean, the other day, he was on media tours and talking about his qualifications, and he basically said that he's qualified to lead the movement because he has lived in the democratic nations for the past 40, 50 years. That's not a qualification to lead a movement. That's not living in democracy does not grant you the leadership skills for to lead anything. I mean, that tells you how much. I think this guy is, he has. I think he has come out of the country at age 17. I was, the same
Right.
age I came out. So, and he has been surrounded by people who have kept telling him that, oh, you are the greatest guy in the world. You are the son of the Shah, and you can do great things. And everyone has praised him, but this guy himself hasn't done anything. So now he thinks that everyone's calling on him and everyone wants him to do something. No, just step back. Let us take over the country. Let us establish a democracy. Your father has been There was a revolution to get rid of your father. You never talk about your father, but at the same time, you get your legitimacy from your father. But every time you are presented with questions about your father, you just you say, why are we talking about the past? This guy is not serious. I don't think he's. I don't really like him.
Well, the past is prologue to the future. Why do we talk about history? Because we're not ignorant Neanderthals. I mean, when they tell you not to think about the past, they're basically coming to us with a Marxist perspective, that the past can have no influence on the future. The past, to a very large extent, determines the future. And people who tell you not to worry about the past generally are trying to create an absolutist government. But in any event, how do you think things are going?
I think things are going well. Mayor, I think the strike was on Khamenei that was great. But this strikes alone, I don't think you're gonna finish the regime. I think we really need force on the ground to finish the job, and of course, NCRI and all the people who support the movement are going to take care of this.
Well, I think that's right, and I think that there's another 2 or 3 weeks of strategic attacks meant to degrade the NCRI, the movement that controls the government now. So we've only seen the beginning, and the beginning is pretty powerful. So I think we need a little bit of patience, and hopefully also with that, the people will start to gain even more confidence and come forward and take over a lot more of this, because this is an unusual. This has never been done from the air. So this is being done. This is an I shouldn't call it an invasion because we don't like to say invasion. We have to find another word. But since we can't find another word, I'm going to say, excuse me, this is an invasion by air. The way a militia would come in and take over, right? They're taking over by air. And what they're doing is they're reducing the resistance that the people have to face. And that's how they're helping them.
Yeah, and exactly. And I mean, no war is for war. We are all for peace. And I know President Trump is not for war either. But, the appeasement policy in the past has got us where we are today. The appeasement policy of the previous administrations, we could have finished this regime much earlier. We could have empowered people much earlier before the regime gets to the point that they are today, that we have to take serious actions against them. So I think things are going really well. I'm really happy with how everything is going, and how NCRI is doing what needs to be done.
Well, thank you very, very much. We pray for your people. I feel like I'm one of them, so I don't like to say your people. It's almost like my people. And
you have been great.
I love them. I think they've been through so much, and it can be such a wonderful example for the world. So we're really looking forward to it. So God bless you, and God bless Iran, and God bless America.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Well, that was a very, very good interview. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because we like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
And welcome back to America's Mayor Live.
Welcome back to America's Mayor Live, as Ted said. Now, let's take you through a little bit of what happened here, really by example. As we pointed out earlier, possibly in the other show, this has not been as transparent as some of the other wars. That is not a criticism. That's a compliment from my point of view, because I don't think you can fight wars transparently because you're giving things away to your enemy. I think this war is being done appropriately. We're getting the information that we need. We'll get the follow-up information later when it isn't critical to the missions that are being carried out. But because we have a Secretary of Defense who was a warrior, who saw all of the mistakes that were made by either incompetence like Obama and Biden or traitors, he's doing this the right way. We're getting enough information. We're not getting all of it, so we have some questions that are open. Ted, you want to take us through some of these attacks that we have the video of?
I do. Yep. We'll do that now. So, of course, so what we want to talk about is some of the initial attacks that we saw. What we're going to play here is something put out by CENTCOM. I believe this is from CENTCOM. And what this will show us is some of the attacks. So, again, this is from the weekend. This was released by Central Command, United States Central Command. I'm clearly stalling here so I can get this up in time. So what is this? This right here, I want to play that one. So the first clip we'll play is going to be from the some of the jets. So this is the fighter planes taking off from one of our two aircraft carriers in the region. this video.
Well, these are the ships that would conceivably be used. And these were in the Strait of.
These are in the Gulf of Oman. We'll bring up a map here.
Well, I'm going to get one right now.
That's not.
We're going to get one right now. And let's see. So these are the ships that would be used to block the Straits of Hormuz. Now, do they have others? I can't say. I mean, when we hear we took out 11, I don't know if we took out 11 of 22, 11 of 21. Are there other ships? All they have to do is drop 2 or 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz, and they accomplish their purpose. It's not a very, very big task. If they find it impossible to sink their own ships in the Straits of Hormuz, this is going to be really over very, very, very fast.
Right.
I can't believe they can't do that. Now, they make too much of that. That's because half the people involved in this war are involved in it for the money, like the ones who support the prince. A little delay in some oil for 3 or 4 weeks is not exactly going to end the world. The Ayatollah having nuclear weapons of major capacity could end the world. So, I mean, the perspective here is a little stupid. A couple of guys are going to lose some money. Those are the people supporting the Shah, because the Shah will make deals with them the way his 2 criminal ancestors did. I mean, there is a certain issue of that's equitable where you say you shouldn't hold the son responsible for the sins of the father. I generally agree with that, except the only reason the son is here is because of the sins of the father. Nobody would know who the hell the son is if he wasn't the scion of the son of the criminal father. No one would know him. He's a ne'er-do-well. He did flight training for a year. That doesn't make much of a pilot. He never did any flying after that, except the one time when he volunteered to fly to help the Ayatollah remain in power against Iraq. That doesn't sound like a guy very much dedicated to freedom. Would you have flown for the Ayatollah who had held Americans hostages? Would you have flown for the Ayatollah who had killed American Marines and slaughtered American civilians in Lebanon? Would you have flown for the Ayatollah who wiped out one American after another with Soleimani in Iraq with sneaky bombings? Of course you wouldn't, because you're a decent moral person. What I'm suggesting is the people around the Shah are not. And I can tell from the way they respond on these sites here, they follow the same techniques as the terrorists do in the way they do it. They try to frighten you. Now, they are amateur terrorists, and I've dealt with major league terrorists, so I find them completely amusing. But they're not amusing. They're very, very dangerous. And it really, the Shah has to be X'd out as a real player in this. It'd be a terrible mistake to have gone through all of this to end up like this. Please don't let it happen. So who do we have, Ted? We have another guest?
We do, and she is connected. So we're going to bring her on.
She's connected? Oh, wow. What's she connected
She is very connected, of course, among the Iranian-American community.
We've had her on before, right?
She's adjusting her her camera as we speak. Mickey Mohammadi, she's a current law student. So there's that we can talk about another time, of course. Most importantly for this discussion, she's been involved at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
She's in law school now in the ongoing fight for freedom. We've had her on before. Mickey, Mohammadi joins.
Oh, Mickey, nice to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Are you still following things very carefully?
Yes, I am. I am.
So can you tell us your perspective now as a young, I would describe you as an Iranian American, correct?
Yeah, I would describe myself as an Iranian American.
Or an American Iranian, which I prefer even better.
Yes, either way it works.
So tell me how you see it, because you've got a lot invested in this, including with your family.
Yeah. Yeah, right now, I mean, it's a very critical time, and we currently, the NCRI has resistance units inside of Iran mobilizing to implement their transitional government. I know I've been on here before and talked about Reza Pahlavi.
We do want to talk about him because he keeps raising his head constantly, and it really is embarrassing. Someone said to me he's as qualified to be the head of Iran as Zoltan Mondami was to be mayor of New York. Namely, he's never had a job before.
No, and see, this is the biggest discrepancy and point I would make is that, like I said, we have resistance units inside of Iran. Reza Pahlavi has no institution, no force working inside of Iran. He even came on the other day and said, "Oh, I'll go to Iran if they want me," and he uses this sort of kind of, the attitude he has is very like laid back in a way that he feels, oh, the Iranian people want me, so then I will go. But no one is inside of Iran actually working to mobilize the plan that he has in place.
You know, the invitation that he may get would be from the regime, because exactly. I can't say that I'm sure of this, but I can say it's a distinct possibility that should be investigated. And that is that a lot of his support inside Iran, which everyone tells me is non-existent, but then you see it on some of these social media. A lot of that social media is being produced by the regime.
Yeah, that's the confusion.
Now, they got caught doing it a week ago. I mean, this is not, they were caught doing it, and they're producing more social media for him than he's producing. And you say, well, why are they doing that? They're doing it because if you do it in the right parts of Iran, you discourage people. I mean, he's basically declared war with the Kurds. Mm-hmm. So now you do that in the Kurdish part of Iran, people are not going to support the revolution. They're going to say, why am I going to be in this revolution just to have a king who wants to kill us?
Yeah. You know, the fact of the matter is that, like, he's killed his father, the previous Shah, killed and assassinated, genocided all of these Azerbaijan, the Kurds, all these minority groups. So the fact is that no one inside of Iran forgot about that. No one that knows that's lived inside of Iran, that's had these lived experiences from the Shah, they haven't forgotten about that. So he has less support, in my opinion, because what we're seeing is bots, really. It's a large propaganda, social media, bots everywhere, and he is using that to, like you said, to discourage the people, but also to bolster his image. And he appears very sporadically. And my biggest concern is that, like I mentioned earlier, he has no legitimate function inside of Iran that is going to carry out any of these proposed plans.
Well, he's the prince. He can be the prince. And it's like one of those movies, Mickey and the Prince.
The Princess and the Frog.
It's like the what is it? Hallmark movies.
Yeah, and or the monarchists.
Yeah. Or how about we get more specific? Mickey and the Pahlavi murderer.
Well, I do not want my name anywhere near
Okay,
him,
well, it won't be Mickey. We'll say The Pahlavi murderer and the Savak.
Yeah, bring back
Bring back the Savak. Yeah, we're going to fight. We're going to get killed. We'll have our children killed. Oh, wow. We can have the Savak back. And you know something? All the torture equipment they left there for the Ayatollah that the Shah was using is still there.
Yeah.
They will find that it actually has gotten a little older. They may have to upgrade it, but they left good torture equipment for them.
Yep.
And we have these jerks in America supporting them.
Right. That's right. And Mickey, among the American Iranian community, the Iranian American community, whichever way you want to put it, are they familiar with the past brutality of the Shah, right? And of course, the mayor cites Savak. Are they aware of that? It does seem that some in the American diaspora have this idea about MEK that's completely off. And are they aware of the brutality of the Shah's regime? Can you kind of speak about the up and coming Iranian American community and where they're at?
Yeah, I mean, 100% they are aware of the Savak and the brutal regime that fell in 1979 and was replaced by another brutal regime. And I mentioned before, but the reason why, it's kind of like a cycle. The reason why the Islamic regime is in place today is there's misinformation as well, people putting it onto the MEK. So that's where a lot of that comes on. But like I've said before, he killed all of the minority groups, all of the faction groups. All that was left was the institutions and churches. So it easily allowed the Islamic regime to take in place. And what we really, really want to keep pushing is an actual legitimate democracy. And right now is the perfect time because, for example, in Reza Pahlavi's plan, he doesn't even have, his transitional government is supposedly supposed to last 3 years. Usually that transition period is 6 months. And so that's what we are, yeah.
Well, that's the sure suggestion that they want to set up a dictatorship.
Exactly.
And he will use monarchical titles like prince and king, but he says he's going to have a constitutional monarchy.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you take 3 years to set that up, there's no chance that's going to happen. None. Zero.
Exactly. And he is just essentially a placeholder for the current regime that's going on right now. So all that it would really kind of be is for show, is to show the Iranian people, hey, the Islamic Republic is gone. Now we have the king. We're restored our democracy, or we restored our freedom. When in reality, Reza Pahlavi is going to be basically dormant. And all of the people around him are the ones that will be making the decisions. He has no legitimate decision-making power or any sort of actual, how do I say, incentive. His only incentive is to bolster his image and for money. It's always been like that for him. He's never gone to Iran in the almost 50 years.
Sitting right next to me to my right are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books, of which there are probably about 30, but these are the 8 that I've read, that explain what the MEK, NCRI would do if they had a chance to take over. It explains the history of the MEK. It explains the history of the Shah. And it's a very well thought out analysis of pros and cons on the kind of government you can have, kind of reminiscent of what we went through in America when we debated, should it be a 3-branch government? How should we do it? This is very serious thinking about what will make the best society for the Iranian people. Nothing like this exists for the princeling. Nothing, not a thing.
Nothing. Yeah.
So, Ted?
That's right. And Mickey, right, for a lot of Americans, we can't discount these concerns they think of Iraq 2003. They think they don't want, some folks don't want to see another endless war, a 10-year quagmire. The one way to guarantee something like this, and Mayor, I'd like to get your opinion on this. One way to guarantee a 10-year quagmire is to try and install the son of the Shah back in Iran, because the only way he's able to exert any authority would be with the U.S. and Israel, boots on the ground. We would, right? I can't think of a scenario where this, and Mayor, I want your opinion, your expertise on this. I cannot think of a scenario where Reza Pahlavi can return to Iran.
Reza Pahlavi, if God forbid he should get there, it'll be out in 6 months, and it'll be probably violently,
right?
Messy, very
which
messy.
is horrible, because it'll delay the ability to put a decent government together for who knows how long. And we also don't know who will come in and try to fill that vacuum. And since we have this aversion to using boots on the ground, it creates a very dangerous situation. You don't get a chance after an action like this, if we get lucky enough to pull it off. You don't get a chance to do it again.
Right.
At least not for 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
he should just be out, and the whole world should laugh at him, really. It should be absolutely laughable that people are going to fight with their lives to get rid of a dictator to bring back a king. I mean, it's got to be ridiculous. What are we, in the 18th century?
Yeah, exactly. And look, we want the people of Iran to install this government, to be this government. And like you just said, Reza Pahlavi, we have in the NCRI, the people, the MEK, they have resistance units inside of Iran that are risking their lives every day with blood, with their children, with everything, putting everything on the line for the freedom of Iran. Whereas Reza Pahlavi has no units inside of Iran and is just telling people to just blindly go into the streets and support him. And it is very unfortunate, like you said, because it's gonna be another 50 years. When are we gonna have another chance to?
Yeah, who knows? Look how long this lasted.
And just to give you an example, I just read the other day. So a NCRI unit actually attempted to kill Khamenei, and they ended up, unfortunately, was successful, but they all died. It was the best way that I could describe it was a mass, like a suicide kind of attempt, but they wanted to really,
a suicide mission.
Yes.
They were willing to give up their lives.
Yeah, well, they wanted to penetrate. They wanted to penetrate the Ayatollah's compound. They did, and I'm sure they gathered a lot of very useful intelligence for the bombing. However,
Exactly.
they lost 35, 40 people.
Yeah, it was around. Yeah, it was.
Now it
more
was,
than 100 were
more
killed or either killed or
lost.
arrested.
Meaning they haven't returned. A lot of them could be prisoners, but who knows?
Right.
But the reality is, a lot returned also with information, and they showed that it is penetratable, that you can get through. So
Exactly.
it was a big step.
Yeah.
And hopefully there'll be more of that. But thank you very, very much, Mickey. This was very useful.
Yeah.
And keep following it so we can call on you. All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And everything you said was right on.
Well,
So.
thank you, my dear. We really appreciate it very, very much. So the next couple of days are really going to tell there's a lot more left in the arsenal of the United States and Israel. You can just see it from what there are assets that are sitting out there in the ocean, the Gulf, and the sea that haven't been even touched yet. Now, are they there for defensive purposes? That could be. But some of them are not necessarily offensive ships. They're defensive ships. Those are ships that are intended for major bombardment on you, not on them. And I have a feeling they're intended for a few places that you haven't seen yet. The level of intelligence that they have about where to hit and where to hit strategically is quite impressive. But remember, you're putting together here the Mossad, the CIA, and the Iranian dissidents, not just MEK, which organizes it, but the tremendous number of people that are disgruntled and upset that now can be maximized and to get their cooperation and their information. So just like you saw with the ending of the Ayatollah and his family and his major people, they seem to know where everybody is. There are a couple of reasons for that, and it doesn't all come from surveillance from the sky. So this has been a very heavily penetrated society, and they got a lot to worry about. So let's see. This is the time to carry it out. You don't go to half measures now. You're not going to get another opportunity like this for some time. And this is the time to end the regime. Over, gone, go to hell, because that's where you're going. You're not going to paradise. And I tell you this, it is statistically impossible for you to even get one virgin. I want you to look at how many Islamic people have been killed by Israel and America in the last year, mostly male. If you do get 79 virgins in heaven or paradise, they're gone. These early arrivals have taken them over. And the best information we can get is, first of all, they were a great disappointment. These virgins were a great disappointment. And these guys, even though they were a great disappointment, are very lonely up there, because apparently it isn't actually paradise. It's someplace else that they're with these virgins. And they're very lonely, and they're not giving up any of them. And you're going to have to fight them for it. So this is not a good place for an 88-year-old man. I seriously doubt the Ayatollah could claim one of these. And up there, he's not an Ayatollah. He's just another guy consigned to hell who's killed more than his share of people. You've got to be out of your mind. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'll get in a lot of trouble if I say what I'm about to say. You should view this religion with some degree of care. Let's put it that way, okay? And then raise the following question, which nobody wants to raise. Under the United States Constitution, will we grant them all this religious liberty? Is it a religion? Is it a religion? How do you define a religion? Does a religion bind you to kill people? Is that a religion, or is that a compact for an organized criminal enterprise? RICO. Just raising a question. It's America. You can raise all kinds of questions. Oh, you can, if you want to do another, if it makes you feel better. I don't know who's around to do it right now. The Ayatollah is somewhere in hell. If you want to do another fatwa, don't go through the trouble of doing another one. Just endorse one of the old ones, okay? And and I think a fatwa you can do with an auto pen. I think that's where Biden got the idea. Yeah. He found out you can do fatwas with an auto pen. So he did laws with it and pardons.
That's a we still haven't settled whether or not here in America the auto pen signatures are valid. So
we got 3 years to kind of hammer that one out.
So of course the auto pen isn't valid. It's ridiculous. It doesn't even make any sense. But the reality is the practicality of undoing it is impossible. Right. There isn't a single founding person founding mouse that was in the convention that thought that you could sign a bill with an auto. First of all, they don't know what an auto pen was. Maybe they did. Jefferson and Franklin may have had auto pens. How the hell do I know? They were so smart. But do you think they really thought that on a bill that they wrote all these very intricate ideas about how it's going to be passed, you're going to get to sign it with some automatic pen? They thought that you would have at least enough interest to read the damn thing.
Oh, no.
I think the last one they read was the amendment that did away with prohibition because it had such an impact on the guys in Congress.
Oh, yeah.
That one they got the prohibition language down right because they wanted to make sure they could get drunk. But
it's amazing how much they were violating that law nonstop.
And they're very big on the abortion bills to make sure the language is right so they can kill babies.
But Mayor, we do actually, I want to make sure that we've brought our listeners, or viewers rather, up to speed on this. The U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia has actually issued a shelter-in-place order for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
That's right, Stephen. Two Iranian drones have struck the United States Embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. That's two Iranian drones have struck the U.S. Embassy in
do any damage?
We are researching damage assessments. I have one source telling us there are 0 U.S. casualties, but let's wait. I should not have even said that. But we are seeing some early reports that there are.
Yes, everything's preliminary at this point.
So let's preface it with
what is preliminary? That there was a strike within Saudi Arabia?
That the U.S. This is a fact. The United States Embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, has been hit by 2 Iranian drones. I am talking to folks who have direct contacts to the Department of War, and they are reporting minutes ago 0 U.S. casualties. That's 0 U.S. casualties, and I'm being told that that the embassy may have been totally evacuated ahead of time. And this follows, of course, Stephen, who's monitoring the State Department and Department of War memorandums. They have issued, as he said. Do we have that up, Stephen? You want to bring that up?
Yep, we're at the security alert right now. As you could see, this is on the website for the State Department.
Security alert, shelter in place, U.S. mission to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Of course,
March 3, 2026.
They're of course.
I wonder how many of those there are, Ted and Stephen. I wonder how many shelters in place there are in our embassies. Has to be the same thing in Jordan. Has to be the same thing in other countries.
We do have a list. You can actually
Emirates, Qatar.
So yeah, if you can see the entire list here: Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Israel, and the West Bank.
Right.
You can see.
Those are all countries that look, except for Oman, even Qatar. Qatar plays 2 sides against the middle. They're not favorable to the regime. The only place on that, Yemen, of course. Bahrain has been for centuries Iran's whipping boy. Egypt despises Iran. Iran despises Iran. Iraq and Iran were at war. Israel, they want to destroy. I mean, I'm going on that list. They don't have a friend there. Jordan is, without any doubt, itching to use their air force against them. We don't want them to. Kuwait, that was one of the first places they hit. Lebanon, they raped. You talk to any Christian that's surviving from Lebanon, and the hatred for Iran is, you can't almost talk to them about it. I mean, they went into Iran and they basically tried to kill every Christian, like Muhammad told them to do. Please follow up on what I just told you. Like Muhammad, the perfect man. I guess perfect men are pedophiles to a Muslim. I'm sorry. I don't want to challenge your religion, but your religion has killed too many of my people for me not to do that. And I do have to challenge, I'm sorry, whether you're a religion or not, because I don't think you are. I don't think a book like the Quran that I first read when I was 19 years old, when I first read it, I went to the brother who was overseeing my research, and I said, "Brother, this can't be a religion. This has got to be like one of those cults. They're talking about killing Jews, killing Christians, killing infidels. Then if you don't kill them, taking tribute from them. That's a religion. There's nothing here about being kind to people. Nothing here about being generous to people." And the book is a narcissistic description of this illiterate, epileptic, pedophile mass murderer, otherwise known as Muhammad, that they described somehow with this book right there as a perfect man. Does that mean they mostly don't read it? Does it mean they actually think a perfect man is a pedophile? Or is it so confused that it's ended up in 1,400 years of mass murder and war? And so I think we're in Ramadan. We always seem to be in Ramadan. Every time, Ramadan has to be the floating holiday. Well, we're in Ramadan again, which keeps moving to whenever they want to put. But here's the thing about Ramadan that I have found totally unusual. And I want you to just think about this, because I'll avoid you having to read the whole book to understand that I'm correct. Why is it that on Ramadan, we always have to have extra security because there'll be some Muslim terrorist attacks? Have you ever heard of extra security on Easter?
Only when it falls on Ramadan.
Or Christmas? Or the High Holy Day? Like all the Jews go running around on the High Holy Day and find people to kill. It's been going on for centuries. You know that. This is ridiculous, and we have to face up to it. We have to face up to it honestly, like honest adult human beings, to protect our kids. This religion has got to make a fundamental change. The world has to require it to do it. Otherwise, we're just going to keep doing this forever and ever and ever. And someday they may get the right formula. Well, what else do we have, Ted? Because we're going to send them over.
That's right. So
to Dr. Maria.
Well, monitoring developments on the Operation Epic Fury, obviously, and stay tuned for those. We'll probably come on again at some point.
Good. Well, we may come on a little bit later after Dr. Maria is over.
The U.S. Embassy in Riyadh was struck by 2 drones, resulting in a
do that a little easy. The embassy in where?
The U.S. Embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Okay, in Riyadh. Okay.
As we've mentioned, was hit by 2 drones, resulting in a limited fire and some material damage. This, according to Saudi Arabia's defense ministry. A loud blast was heard and flames were seen at the U.S. Embassy early Tuesday morning. It's Tuesday, of course, at this point over there. Black smoke was seen rising. We might have some of that on screen here.
We'll see if we can get that, and maybe we'll come on a little later.
No reported injuries. As of now, no injuries. As of now, no injuries.
Well, that's good. If it's a drone, I wonder if it was done inside. The attack was launched from inside Saudi Arabia. More likely than not, it was launched from inside Saudi Arabia.
Now, go ahead. Sorry.
To be determined, I suppose.
We could probably tell from the pic. We could get a little hint from the picture as to how big it is if we can see it.
Now we're also seeing operation.
Honestly, I don't think they'd get a drone. It's in Riyadh. I don't think they'd get a drone that far in without it being taken out.
But keep in mind, the defense systems are being taxed a little bit more than they're used to being taxed. So maybe one to squeak through, perhaps.
I bet that drone was no more than 10 miles away. Just a guess.
Like where they were operating it from?
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, you do have the street in Saudi Arabia. And this is why Saudi Arabia is so worried about coming out in favor of Israel, coming out against Iran. They are in favor of Israel. They are against Iran, but they're very afraid of their own street because they've never really gotten control of it. I mean, they've got a lot of terrorists in Saudi Arabia, which they don't. See, I would think that'd be hard to do in Dubai or Emirates, maybe even in Qatar, that might be hard to do. a drone strike like that from inside. But it's a lot easier to do in Saudi Arabia, where you have a lot more terrorists among the people.
But the way that bin Salman was so collegial with Trump and how he's made such an effort to modernize the country, it's sad. It's
well, I think
sad
he
to
probably
that.
has. I think it's a heck of a lot better than it was 10 years ago. But I don't think it has extricated itself yet from I know it hasn't extricated itself from the street. They still have substantial pockets of terrorism in Saudi Arabia, more so than the other Arab countries.
But it's unfortunately, I suppose, a different branch of Islam, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's Sunni,
and so that rivalry
that's Al-Qaeda.
itself tempers it a little bit. No,
Al Qaeda is just as bad as Iran. I mean, Al Qaeda is the one responsible for September 11. That was Sunni terrorists who did September 11. So Sunnis are much bigger. So the percentage of terrorists the number of terrorists is probably about the same, but the percentage is much less.
That's my understanding.
So
I always viewed it more as the more modern sect.
The Shiite Muslims, since they're only about 13% of the Muslims, any large number of Muslims are going to take up a good percentage of Shiites, whereas a large number of Sunnis gets lost in the ocean.
Yes.
But they're very dangerous. And they were so dangerous that, Saudi Arabia used to pay them off. What are we looking at? Saudi Arabia? Riyadh?
That there is the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh, kind of a
When you
Google
say that's
images.
there, can you specify the building?
That's it. That's zoomed out.
Looks like a pretty substantial compound. I've never been to that.
It looks like there's a heliport there.
Have you been there?
I've never been there.
So that's that. And we're just kind of playing some footage here. Here's the aftermath of Iran's drone attack on Saudi's Aramco Ras Tanura refinery. That's actually Saudi Arabia's largest.
Economic damage to everybody, right?
Oh, yeah. And we've already seen the price of oil and oil futures rise, as well as the cost of insuring the shipping around the world. That's gone up significantly.
Down. As soon as this is over, it'll go right down.
So that's significant damage, though. Again, that is Saudi Arabia's
Maybe
largest.
we should take more oil from Venezuela and sell it.
Was literally just thinking.
So we can pay for this. I like this idea of Trump, making these wars pay for themselves.
Right.
I think we just entitled to ourselves to 3 months of Saudi oil before they get any. Not Saudi, Iraqi oil before they get any.
Iranian.
Oh, Iran. Okay, Iraqi too.
Yeah.
We didn't. President Trump famously in 2016
we deserve
didn't take the oil.
Iraq owes us a lot of oil.
Oh my goodness.
What about windmills? I thought windmills was what everything was going towards.
Just knock them all down. They're killing the birds, and the president is very sensitive about birds.
I agree.
Suddenly, when he found out that the environmentalists were sort of like playing against type by killing all the birds, he decided the birds were very important to him. He's not even sure what birds there are, but he feels very, very sensitive about those birds. Those environmentalists, they don't have a heart. They'll kill any bird that they have. They just don't care.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't care about
Well, they get
birds.
brainwashed.
Well, before we go, we do want to show, we didn't mention the 3 United States, I don't know if they're F-16s,
It's
F-15
really, isn't it
fighter
more?
jets. I believe it was 3 of them that were hit by friendly fire. I believe it may have been the Kuwaitis that had shot them down. But we have some video of
that's a shame. That's a shame. That's
of
a
the
shame.
pilots on the ground and being helped by locals.
What a horrible thing to be hit by friendly fire.
You're fine? Really? You need something to help you?
There was 3 that were killed that
No
way.
problem. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. Everything
This
good?
is a
No
female
problem.
United States fighter
Thank you
pilot.
for helping us. Everything perfect?
She was shot down. And
You're fine?
interesting, they give out.
But they-
Really?
Did they?
You need something to help you?
They all lived, didn't they?
Yes, they all.
No problem, you're
And the
safe.
group that was shot
You're
down.
safe, you're safe. Everything good?
lived.
Yes.
No
yes.
problem.
How about
Thank you
the
for
three that
helping us.
died
Everything
that was
perfect?
before yesterday?
But we're now at 6. The
I know it's at 6. Have any names been released yet? Of any
we're
of
looking
them?
for names. As you mentioned, Mayor, they often they wait on that to inform.
And
the
they're not
family.
giving locations either.
And that, of course, for strategic reasons, they don't give those. Here's another
I
one.
think they're not giving the locations, Ted, so that they don't want people to be able to know where the casualties took place, so that they spend the next 3 days in torture, saying, "Oh my God, my child was in that area, and 3 people are missing from that area."
Right.
There has been speculation about the location, but we're gonna.
No, let's not speculate.
Yes.
We don't have to. If you would tell me, I'd like to know, because I'd like to see what the heck they're hitting, but with some degree of accuracy, since mostly they're wasting their missiles. Israel did a major attack on missiles today. There's got to come a point when they're out of missiles. But we really do have to go. Want you to go over now, right now, to Lindell TV and see Dr. Maria. And if we have more news of anything really, really major, we'll come back after that show's over on X. So keep watching for us. We'll send you a little advance notification if we're going to do it. But we really want to thank you very, very much for joining us. You're giving us our biggest audiences ever. And we're enormously appreciative. And we'll do the best we can to help you get the news you're not getting elsewhere, huh? That's what we exist for. So pray for the people that are in harm's way. Pray for our soldiers. Pray for the soldiers that are helping us. Pray for the people of Iran who are victims here. And pray for the people of Israel, people of Ukraine, Venezuela, all these places where people are just victimized and put in harm's way for bad reasons. And pray for our president, that he continues to make the very wise decisions that he's making. And very much pray for our troops. Oh, my goodness, how could we do it without them? No, we couldn't do it without them. That's the answer. So we'll see you tomorrow, possibly later. God bless America. It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to apply our God-given common sense. So let's do it. It's our purpose